The rain doesn't seem to want to stop. It's a bit unusual for this time of year, don't you think? I hope it does clear up soon. Especially the lightning. Of course not. I'm not a little kid, you know. It's just that I hate how it flashes suddenly and takes me by surprise. It's an amazing design. I've never seen a book quite like it. Huh? I must be seeing things. It was as if the words were moving on the page. Look, there's a picture of the town in here. So this is Labyrinthia, is it? Professor, this certainly is very strange. First that letter from Carmina, and now this book. If you ask me, Espella doesn't seem to be lying. But witches chasing after people? It's all a little hard to believe. Professor, Espella's been... Do you think that was one of those witches that Espella was talking about? Then what we just saw... was that magic? Professor, I'm going too, even if you disagree. I'm coming along. After all, I am your apprentice. Look, Professor! The wall! What's a place like this doing behind the wall? I wonder who could have made this place, and why? It's so dark. I can barely see. Espella! Professor, we've got to search for Espella. So, could that witch... Okay, Professor, I can hear something. It's coming from the end of the corridor. This is bad, Professor. They're getting closer and closer. You didn't think we'd just give ourselves up, did you? What do you mean? The middle of the story? Professor, she just disappeared. I don't know, but I have a bad feeling about all of this. Do you think she's just trying to scare us because she lost? Right, and then we can give her back this book. Professor, the book, It looks like it's beginning at last, Professor. Sorry, but when you say he, who exactly do you mean? Huh? The creator of Labyrinthia? Wow, that was amazing, wasn't it, Professor? He's kneading the dough pretty hard, isn't he? And I'm Luke Triton. Nice to meet you. Espella? It's just that, well, you've been so quiet. The atmosphere is a bit sinister. Not to mention that scary picture. Maybe it's about time we made a move from here? We did it, Professor! That should open the door. Labyrinthia's creator is waiting for us inside. Who, me? Well, to be honest, I suppose I am. Just a little. But don't worry, Professor. I can do this. Let's go. Let's meet the storyteller. Right you are, Professor. You're the creator of Labyrinthia. But why did you call a professor here? What are you talking about? Corruption? You mean Carmina Accidenti? Oops. The identity of the Great Witch? Do you mean... Professor, the words the storyteller wrote really did come true. And in the worst possible way. A man from afar falls to a golden curse. At first, I thought he was referring to Mr. Wright. But I got it all wrong. It was about the Professor. Mr. Belduke seemed to know a lot about this town's secret, and the truth about the witch. There must be another way. You don't need to do this. Was that an explosion? What could have exploded like that? Yeah, I'm fine. How about you, Mr. Wright? That's a relief. Wait a second. Haven't we seen her somewhere before? What? Oh, I remember where we saw her. It was at the other trial. Weren't you? You're right. It is Miss Kira. Task? Whoa. Did you see that? Was that the spell Demir? That bell... What do you think it's for? Mr. Wright? Yes? Hey? But why? Okay, got it. It was like Espella wasn't herself anymore. Almost as if she was possessed. She kept murmuring, "I'm the Great Witch Bezella," over and over and over again. She took off running when we tried to calm her down. We tried going after her, but she lost us. We searched everywhere for her, the ruins, the forest, but there was no sign of her. No matter where we looked, we thought she might have returned to town. And if she did, the knights would be sure to catch her and drag her back to that terrifying courtroom. Needless to say, we went back to town straight away to search for her. And then, without warning, Labyrinthia was hit by a heavy rainstorm. There was an ominous silence over the entire town square. The only thing I could hear was the rain. We didn't know it at the time, but that rain... it was a sign of the terrible things that were to come. Look! It's a new story! Anyway, let's read it. The next stop must be our destination. Well, this is it, Professor. Wow! This is certainly different. There are flowers and plants everywhere. I can even see a water wheel over there. This evening breeze is a little chilly. So, is this the storyteller's garden then? Who'd have imagined we'd end up in a beautiful place like this? Let's investigate. Look, Professor. A stairway just appeared. Could there be another room above this one? Oh, I can see what you mean, Professor. It's really dark in here. But moonlight seems to be coming in from up above. I think so too, Professor. I wonder what on earth it could be. The next step. But the story has already finished, hasn't it? I took a quick crash course before operating the machines. Not bad, hey? It looks like Eve has taken a liking to the other Eve. You know, Professor, I feel like I've just finished reading a really long story. I wonder how Isabella and the others back in Labyrinthia are getting on. I'd love to go back and see them, although I'd rather not have to be sucked into a book to get there. Great! It's a real relief he recovered from all of his injuries, but he was a bit put out when he found out you'd already solved all the town's secrets, Professor. I wonder what they're doing right now. Battling away in a courtroom somewhere? Don't worry. Leave this one to me. See what you think of this. This is my answer. Professor, I did it! Oh, let me do the next one too. As you'd expect from a gentleman in training. I could have sworn I had it. Hey? This can't be right. I can't look the Professor in the eye. Let's do it, Miss Meyer. Yes, we did it! And we were doing so well together. Objection! Hold it! No way!